Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on Linux Mint. Let's go ahead and go into the software manager. Type in Plank. And what Plank is, it's just a dock. It looks a lot like Elementary OS. I'm just going to install this. Put in your password. And we can go ahead and hit launch. But before we do that, let's right click on our panel and go to panel edit mode. And then once you do that, click on move and let's go to the top with it. And then once it's up there, just undo the panel edit mode by toggling that back off. Okay, now let's go ahead and launch it. And you'll see it down here at the bottom. It's just got our different applications. So if I were to open terminal, you'll see it pop up at the bottom. And there's some customizations you can do with it. If you hold down Control and right click, you've got the preferences option. Go ahead and go into that. Okay, and you can see we've got the default theme, GTK, the Mate, and transparent. I think I'm going to stay with Mate, and let's move it from the bottom to the left. And something else you can do, instead of having it centered align, you can have it fill, so it's going to fill from the top to the bottom. So you can just have it running along the bottom or the top or the left or the right. I'm going to keep it on the left. And it's good that it doesn't, it can stay in the center. You can change the size of your icons here. So we can do like 28. 28. Go very small. Keep it at 40. Was it 42? Maybe 48. And we'll keep it at 48. Behavior, IntelliHide, auto hide. If you get a window close to it, then it'll automatically hide itself. Auto hide is going to be anytime your mouse is not over at the top of it. Dodge maximize windows, window dodge, and dodge active window. So that's your options there. Under docklets, you can add different widgets to the dock. So let's go battery. Double click on battery. You can see I'm not on a laptop, so it's not going to show up, but anytime you add something you want to take it off, you can just click and hold and drag it off. And it'll do a little animation there. Clippy is going to show you your clipboard contents, which I don't have any. So let's just create one real quick. Let's bring up the text editor and type in, this is a test of your emergency broadcast system. And then we'll copy that. You can, when we hover over Clippy, you can see this is a test. We'll close out of that. Close without saving, that's fine. And then we've got our clock. Gives you an analog clock. If you hover over it, it'll give you the date and the time. You can CPU monitor. You can hover over and it'll show you how much percentage your CPU and memory is using. And then you've got your show desktop button. So if we have a bunch of different windows open here, click on the show desktop, bloop, and they go away. If you click it again, they don't come back, so I'm not really sure what kind of usage you'd get out of that, but it's there. And then you've got your trash can. And while we're in here, I'll go ahead and show you the behavior of the IntelliHide. If you get close to the dock, it'll automatically hide. Then you can move your mouse over to the corner and it'll expand. All right, so instead of IntelliHide, let's do auto hide. So the window's not over there right now, but it's still hidden until I bring my mouse into its area. Dodge maximize window. So that's basically anytime I maximize something, it'll hide itself. And then come back. Window dodge. I'm not really sure why you'd do window dodge. I would just do IntelliHide. And dodge active window. So this is my active window. Now it's not, so it comes back. That makes sense. And that's the different features for the dock called Plank. Let's take a look at extensions. So I'm just going to press super and go extensions. And then we want to go to the download tab. And we've got a transparent panel. Go ahead and download that one. We can download the dynamic wallpapers as well. It's pretty cool. We'll do mouse shake as well. Okay, so after you've got those downloaded, we'll go to manage. Highlight the extension, and then you've got this little plus down here. That's for enable. Go ahead and enable these. And we'll do the mouse shake. Go ahead and enable that. So that's if you're having problems finding out where your cursor's at, you can just wiggle it You'll see how it got big there. Transparent panels, go ahead and enable that one. And you'll see now it's got a little shadow towards the top, but our panel is completely transparent. So you could see where if you combine this with something like Plank, now you've got a completely different workflow. So you got your time and date up top, and you got your applications over on the side. So it gives it more of like a Mac OS or a Ubuntu Unity feel to it. Okay, and that was extensions. So if we go into our wallpaper here, change background image, you'll notice we don't see our wallpaper here, right? It's because it's pulling it from the extension. So we need to go back into extensions, highlight our Cinnamon dynamic wallpaper, go into settings. Error during fetch location. Are you connected to the network? I am. Not sure what that bug's about. But in here, this is basically where you can go in and change your wallpaper. So you got Lakeside, Lake, and there's a bunch of different ones here. So we'll change this to mountains, and then I went under locations and times, and I changed the interval to 5 minutes. Just hit apply on that, hit OK. And that's how you would change your dynamic wallpaper. Okay, now let's hit super and let's do hot corners. And these will be unchecked when you first go in here. It'll look like this. And then you just go in and toggle these. So the top left corner shows all workspaces, and you can change what that actually does. I've got it set to workspaces. The top right will show all my windows. The bottom left will show my desktop. And the bottom right shows my terminal. So I'll go ahead and I've got those set up. So now if I wanted to open the terminal, let's go ahead and close out of that. If I wanted to open my terminal real fast, just go to the bottom right. And then every time I go to the bottom right, a terminal will open. So that's pretty cool. And then the top right, that's all my windows. Bottom left, that hit everything. Bottom left again actually shows it. This is more useful than the peek at the desktop icon here on the Plank. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And then let's go ahead and put our trash can at the bottom. Make it stand out. Make it easy to empty the trash. And then what was the last one? The top left? That's going to show our workspaces. Those hot corners are super handy. Okay, and then we can do autofocus window. So if we just hit super again and we go into Windows, and then on the Behavior tab, you can see Window Focus Mode. If you're coming from a window tiling manager and you're used to like i3 or Sway, you can come in here to Window Focus Mode and change this from click to mouse. And then you'll see, without me having to click, I'm going to highlight the terminal over here, and I'm not clicking on it or anything, and I'm able to do like a neo fetch, right? And I didn't click. I'm not clicking. I'm just hovering the cursor over neo fetch. I think this is most useful for someone that's coming from like a tiling window manager, but that is Window Focus Mode. Okay, now we're going to take a look at guest sessions. So if you go into the login window and go to users, allow guest sessions. So think big corporations, or you've got friends or family over and they're needing to use your computer and you don't want to have to give out your password or just, whatever. But yeah, in a corporate setting, I can see this being super handy as like a kiosk mode or something. Or maybe you've got some shop floor workers that need to get in to maybe sign a time card or something like that. And you just want to allow guest sessions because they can log in, use the machine. When they log out, everything they've done on that machine is not saved. So any kind of passwords they might have typed in or anything like that will be erased when they sign out. So this is actually a hidden gem within Linux Mint. And this is not talked about near enough. It's a very, very nice feature to have in your operating system. Okay, and let's go ahead and see what this looks like. So we're just gonna hit the X on here and let's sign out. Okay, so I've toggled on guest sessions. I'm gonna give it a restart and I'll see if the guest sessions show up on the next login. I made it through the reboot and you can see we do have our guest sessions. Let's go ahead and log into that. All data created during the guest session will be deleted when you log out. The settings will be reset to default. Please save files on some external device, for instance a USB stick, if you would like to access them again later. Okay, so that confirms basically you can log into this guest session, do whatever you need to do, and none of the data is going to be saved. So that's perfect for like a shared computer on a shop floor or something like that. We'll just do a test. So let's go to like, what's something I need to sign into? Let's see if this history is saved through a log off. Okay, so you can see, let's go to history, manage history. You can see my Google search where I just search for that. So let's log out and see what happens. Okay, cool. I'm signed out. There's my regular account, so let's go back into guest. Pull up Firefox. And it's telling me everything's temporary again. And we'll go back into our history. And boom, you can see nothing saved. So like I said, this is perfect for people that need to get into like a time card or something that's very sensitive to personal information. So yeah, definitely utilize guest sessions if you got a friend or something over, or if you're in IT for your company, definitely check that out. Comes in super handy. And here's another one. If we go into accessibilities and we go to keyboard, you can turn on a visual indicator for caps lock and num lock. You can also play a sound. Let's see, what do we got? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and press caps lock. And at the bottom, you can see we do have an indicator. If we turn it back off, shows us the indicator again. And here's the num lock key. Num lock on. Okay, the next one is more of like a troubleshooting step. So if you ever have issues where your computer's crashing or you got random reboots, it's not going into sleep mode, whatever the case may be, you can come into system information, crash reports, and there should be an entry here of what exactly is happening with the timestamp. All right, and this next one, let's go ahead and go back into the software manager. And let's say you wanted to change your font. I like the enter font. I think it's called enter var. Yeah, fonts enter variable. So it's going to go ahead and install that one. Put in your password, and then we'll search for fonts, and it's the font selection is the one we want. And then everywhere where you see Ubuntu, you're just going to type enter, I-N-T-E-R. We want the regular. Regular. And was that medium? Yeah, this is the medium. Let's try to find enter var medium. All right, now our font did change, but anytime you make a change to the font like that, I'm going to go ahead and give it a reboot. Okay, and we made it back from a reboot. So you can see now, it just allowed the system to settle in with that new font. Everything looks crisp and clear. All right, now let's bring up the file manager. And if we press F3 on the keyboard, you'll see we have a split screen here, so we can be in our downloads and our documents at the same time if we needed to copy one or the other back and forth. Here is a screen resolution script that I wrote for this video. For some reason, this virtual machine was maxing out at like 1080p. So let's go open that in the text editor. So if you have a similar issue, this is the code that you could use to fix that. Anyway, back to what I was showing you. Let's just copy this and paste it over to downloads. And you can see at the top, as I highlight this section of Nemo, it updates with the folder path for us, so you can know where you're at. And if I F3 again, that takes that off. And if I do F9, you can see that that hides our places on the left. So if you wanted to hide your places and then do F3, just to give you more real estate to move around working with your files, that's just a quick way to do that. Sticking with the file manager, we can right click on downloads and change the color of it. And then you can see that makes downloads stand out. So if you wanted to come in here and just color code all your different files and folders, this would be a cool way to do that. And then to remove the color, you just right click on it and press the X. Okay, now let's go over some keyboard shortcuts. If we do Alt-Control-Delete, that's going to ask us to log out. If we do Alt-Control-End, that's going to ask us to shut down. If we do an Alt-Control-T, that's going to bring up a terminal. If we do an Alt-Control-L, that's going to lock our screen. And that's going to do it for today's video. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's some other videos you might find helpful as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.